Now I'm starting work on the leaf springs. It seems like a pretty simple task. This is the first time I've done leaf springs on an RC vehicle. They come with 3 springs. The main spring, you have one more to kind of stiffen this one up, and if you want a third one to get it really hard. But I'm not going to be using this for on-road at all, so I'm taking the third set out, the third spring out. I'll be using 2 springs. So I already have 2 springs for each of these. The manual asks that you grease the upper spring, well, grease between the upper spring and the main spring. So I'm going to use red and tacky. This is my standard lube I use for all my transmissions and gears and etc. I've never done these springs. The manual says to grease it, and this bottle says it's especially good for sliding surfaces, so that's what I'll be using to grease the springs. After I grease the springs, and they take these mounts, you can see the hole in these, in the pin in this. These go into the hole, and then this mounts onto my axle. So I'll be doing the first one, and then I'll come speed through the rest of them. I'm taking just a little bit of grease. I'm not going to overdo this. I'm going to run a thin layer right over the back. Now, like I said, I haven't done this before, so I don't know if I'm doing this wrong, right, incorrect. The manual says to grease this, so that's what I'm doing. And if you can see there, it's greased up quite nicely. Just by the nature of red and tacky, this is going to stick to this second spring, and I'll place it. So that should help things out just a little bit. A little excess coming off. So there's the springs greased. And now I take this little, they call it a leaf spring perch. So I'll take the perch, slip it in the hole, make sure it goes through both, and then drop this on the axle. I guess it doesn't matter which way it goes because it's the same both ways. You can see on the axle there's another hole where the perch pin goes. So slip that up in there. Take one of these U-bolts, thread it on the ends. That's coming in. Slip that right through the perch on both sides. Takes 2 per spring setup. And then they have nylon nuts to secure this all in. So I get them on and give them a loose spin. My fingers are a little slippery from the red and tacky. So I've got them loosely secured now, and there's the first spring mounted on. You see both springs laying there flush on the axle. So I just need to tighten these up, these U-bolts. They're really wobbly right now. And that's it for one of the springs. I have to do it 3 more times. So I'm gonna do a quick tightening job with one of these cross wrenches that come in every kit. Do opposite sides because it seems like this wants to go on a little crooked. I should probably be doing them all even. Oh, I've tightened it on one side too tight. And what that's done is pulled the U-bolt all the way down on one side, not leaving anything for the other side. So I just backed one side out, and now I'm tightening them both at an even keel so that I get equal amounts of thread hanging out of the top. In case you didn't understand what I just said, I've also tightened this down too tight just now, and it's actually denting the axle. I don't know if you can see that right there. The axle is actually indenting. So these are threaded nuts. They shouldn't need, I mean, you want to secure it, but with the threaded nuts they shouldn't be slipping. They shouldn't slip. So I'm actually gonna back that up just a little bit. This isn't moving anywhere, so I'm pretty happy with that. And actually on the other side, you can see here where I've screwed that in too tight. And so now what that's doing is pulling the U-bolt all the way over to one side. So I'll back this one out just a little bit and then tighten them down evenly. There's the leaf springs installed on one side. I'm going to do this again on all the other ones 3 more times. So here's the axles with the leaf springs installed. Pretty simple process just with the U-bolts. Next on the build I'll be putting the servo mount and everything else that attaches to the 2 axles, front and rear, and go from there. So yeah, those are the 2 axles, front and rear, with the leaf springs installed.